Hello and welcome to Not Replaced Yet. My name is Nick Bushkar and I'm one half of Not Replaced Yet. I'm usually joined by my brother Jesse, but he's off doing real work and I'm here with you fine people. Today's episode is going to be a little different. I'm going to go off the cuff and in a second here I'm going to share my screen out and we're going to vibe a website into existence. Now it's 2026 and there's a lot to be said about vibe coding. The way that I think about it is that it speaks to the central question of how do you optimally code with AI? And people talk about spec-driven development, context engineering. There's many different terms for it, different ways of thinking about it. But at the root of it all, sort of at the most simplistic form, is vibe coding. And it goes back to what Andre Karpathy said when he coined the term. It's that you just give into the vibes. You tell your agent what you want it to do, and you just say yes to everything, and that's vibing. And what matters, in my opinion, if you're going to go that route, is that the stakes are low. It's okay if mistakes are made. Security matters, but it's not of the utmost importance. You're not doing this for a client. Don't do this ever for any client, especially anything that matters a lot. You just want the stakes to be low. And so I'll go ahead and share my screen out and give you a little bit of context here. All right. Now, if you've ever been a freelancer or in the agency life or a marketer, a solopreneur, whatever you want to call it, you know a common thing is that your own website gets pushed to the bottom of the list. It's always neglected because your clients matter most. And so I thought I would take this opportunity to actually create some content and get something done that I've always wanted to do, and that's to create the Not Replaced Yet website. And so that is what we are vibing today. And so I'm going to pull in Cursor over here. I actually already have Claude Code open in my terminal. I use Cursor as my IDE. Let's maximize that up. And Claude Code is giving me a Next.js error, even though I don't have a Next app in this directory. Interesting. Okay. That's all right. Well, we're running this in YOLO mode. We are skipping permissions, and that's all a part of vibe coding. And I will say, what I've done before starting this is I've actually gotten my head wrapped around what I want the design to look like. And we're going to go into plan mode in a second. And then while the code is actually being written, I'll go back and talk to you about how I came up with the design, because there are some interesting things there. So let's go into plan mode. And I need to hit Alt-M. And you can see down here, right here, it now says plan mode on. And I talk to Claude Code 90+% of the time. And so I'm going to prompt it to get this thing started. We're going to create a Next.js app for my website. The title is Not Replaced Yet, and I want to use React, Node, TypeScript, Tailwind, ShadCN. This will be on Vercel and Supabase, and I want to use Clerk for auth. I have some design instructions here. The different pages that we're going to have on it include a blog, an AI resources page. There's this type of page that I want to have where I post. It's kind of a page that is for the things that I'm paying attention to, and I want to call it Signal. And it's a place to post other people's YouTube videos, podcasts, blogs, Substack, whatever, things like that. And let's start planning. All right, so Claude Code is going to take this, and it's not a very well thought out prompt, but I think it'll get the job done. And once again, like I said, the stakes are low here, so I'm not super worried about it. While that runs, Oh, good. Okay, good. It's seeing the example. So while that runs, I do want to show you this. I use several different types of websites for design inspiration, but these were the two that I looked at for this example. So I looked at Dribbble, and then there is this Landing Love. It's landing.love. And so what I like to do is I just go over here and I'll type something in. So maybe we say luxury. And you can click on web design to narrow it down to actual design. And then I just like to click through and open anything that catches my eye in a new tab. It's kind of cool. But for this website, I was feeling a bit more of a light mode feeling. AI is really living in dark mode these days. Okay, so this is we're back in plan mode here. Actually, I see this is done. So it says, what data will be stored in Supabase? Should blog posts and signal items be stored in Supabase? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I do want a Supabase and an admin UI. See, so this is great because Claude is asking if I want an admin dashboard that lets me create and edit posts and signal items, and I do. I didn't even say that in my initial prompt. It's so smart. What features will require Clerk auth? Is this mostly a public site? Yeah. No, users don't need accounts, so admin only, where I will log in to add and edit posts and things like that. AI resources page. For now, I'm going to say it's a curated tool list. I think that's good enough. And yeah, we're matching the site design. Okay, so I really like that about plan mode because it takes in what I've given it, it thinks through everything, it reads, if you can see here, it reads through my examples of what I've built out, and then it asks me those questions for clarifications. All right, let's head back over to the design. Yeah, anyways, so I'll go through different tabs like this, and I'll just think through different design elements that I really like. This was, I didn't go this route, but this was one that I liked. I liked how the yacht had the horizon line, it's blank white above it. And initially I was thinking, I actually went into Gemini and I created some sample imagery where I had it create some like futuristic AI images, artifacts that it was in the ocean. And I was thinking about then having VO animate the ocean and then have the not replaced yet logo, title, text up here, but I decided against that. I wanted to keep it a bit simpler. I didn't see this one earlier. That's pretty, it's okay. It's kind of simplistic. This one's kind of cool. But again, like I said, I was feeling light mode for this website. So anyways, I will just go through these, and even if I find something that I like about it, right? Like I kind of like this menu icon up here. I might want to use something like that when we get into mobile. And Landing Love, I really like this one because this is very animation focused. As you can see here, I like that loader. Yeah, this is sleek. Oh, that's cool. I'm scrolling down and it zooms out. That's so nice. I don't even know what this site is about. Let's look. I like the design so much. I want to look at it. Prompt engineering that feels like magic. Test prompts across datasets, compare models side by side, and collaborate seamlessly, all with automatic versioning and prompt management that actually works. I like that. That's pretty cool. I'll check this out. Okay. Adeline. And then something else that I have done. So when I'm done with that, I like to go, especially these days, and check out different component libraries. And a major component library that's often used these days is called 21st.dev. So I'll pull that over and show you. 21st.dev is really nice because you have your categories over here. And so, for example, you can look for shaders. And shaders are different animated sections and whatnot. So you can click into this and you can say, oh, I want to include this. And what it does is it gives you the prompt for this. So I'll click copy prompt here. And I'll just show you what I mean by this. Let's open up a new file and paste it in. And so this is all the information that's needed that you can then, if I saved this out, I'm not going to save it right now, but if I saved this here in my directory, what I'd be able to do, oh good, no. What I'd be able to do is then I could give this prompt to Claude Code and it would know how to implement that specific design. And then from there, you can talk to Claude Code about editing it. Say, let's go back to it. Oh, I want to use this color scheme instead, or it's moving a little too fast. I wanted a subtler, or there's too many lines. I only want a few lines, something like that. And you can have, then Claude can edit it from there to make it your own. And they don't just have shaders. So you can go to, if we go and look at navigation menus is a good example. They're just really nicely designed and very easy to implement, and it gets you ahead instead of having to think through this from first principles. All right, it looks like Claude Code has some more questions for me. All right, we have a plan. Again, I'm trusting Claude. We're vibing, yes, and bypass permissions. All right, this thing's running. All right, let's bring back this. And so I landed on, actually, let's go back to the shaders here. I'll show you what I did. I was feeling this animation. Just felt really nice. So it feels sort of elevated, interesting. But again, I didn't want the dark mode. And so I will show you the test page that I created. Open this index up. We'll go live with this. All right, so as you can see, it has this background, or it has that animated background, right? But I made it my own. I changed the color, I changed the speed of it, and then I added a grain. I don't know if you can see this. I hope you can over the shared screen, but I added this grain effect. All right. While that happens, we're going to go ahead and set up Supabase. So this is something great. I have, in fact, let's open another instance of Claude Code here. Great. Pull this out. And I need to see what MCP servers I have set up for this directory. This is one UI bug that I don't like. It can be a little buggy when you first start it up and slow. Is it not going to do it? All right, let's try this. There we go. There we go. This is what I want. Okay, we have Exa and Chrome DevTools set up. All right, so we need to get Supabase set up. So Supabase is going to be our database. And what I like to do is we do Supabase MCP. I just Google that. Actually, you know what? I need to do this. I'm going to pull this off screen in case something I don't want to show shows up here. But we'll get into our project and okay, great. Here it is. I was playing around with this, and so it already has some data in it, but I'm just going to have Claude Code clear it out once we get in there. And so this is great. What we can do is I Google Supabase MCP. It takes you to this docs page, and then what you can do is you can just select the project. I'm going to select this project that I've created, and you can then select, not cursor, Claude Code, grab this CLI command. I'm going to open up another terminal and paste this in. Perfect, added the server. Now we'll go back here. I'm going to restart this. And if you remember, here, I'm going to give it a second because it likes to be slow right when you start it up. I'm impatient though. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Supabase is in. So now we need to auth Supabase, I'm sure. So if you use the / command for MCP, oh, we're connected. Interesting. Let's see where. Okay, great. Let's do this. I'll talk it out. Can you check the database and tell me what tables I have? Use the Supabase MCP. There we go. Perfect. Okay. I want you to get rid of all of the tables, please. I'm going to start fresh. Great. So it ran this migration, it's drop all tables, and then it's checking to see if they've been dropped and confirmed. Perfect. Let's go back over here. All right, this is still running. And while that is running, then I'll set up the Vercel project. Now, you can do this through either, well, so I do have the Vercel and Supabase CLI command set up, and I'm auth in there, but I do have, since I had already had that not replaced yet project set up, I didn't ask it to do that. And I am just going to do this manually. Oh, you know what? I'm going to wait because we're going to create a new Git repo. Once the project gets kind of up and running, what we'll do is we'll create a new Git repo, and then that Git repo will be what we use to deploy to Vercel. It's very simple, very straightforward. Let's see. I love watching this too over here. You can see down here in the status line, I have it set up. We're using Opus 4.5, which it's just the best model. I love it. It's so much better, in my opinion. I've had so much better experience with it as opposed to Codex, and Gemini is really great, but I don't know. 4.5 is just, it's what I use. You can see the context. We're at about 50% context usage. I would really love the million token context. Because the truth is, I'll riff on this for a second. Other people have commented on this, and I have found this to be true for myself. The context window, even though you have 200,000 tokens, it does start to degrade when you get closer to your limit. And so I'm not going to do it now, but if I'm working on especially more important things, client tasks, anything like that, I try to clear it and get a new fresh context between 40 to 60% usage. And I'll tell you, it is funny. While this is building out, something that I have, I don't know if contend with is right, but something that I've had to do is if I'm working on something like this, you can see all the time that I have. And it is very easy to open up something, social media or something, and scroll while it's doing work for you. And so what I have done especially is while something like this is running, I have other Claude Code instances open where I'm working on multiple projects at a time, because I really think about this as intelligence. And the more I can put intelligence to work for me, the more I get done. And that's my goal. And so, in fact, there's something interesting while we're here. Since this is running and we have some time, I do want to bring this up. Let me see if I can find it. It's a post from Boris Cherney, who is the guy from Anthropic who created Claude Code. Here he is. Wow, he posts a lot. I didn't realize this. I'm scrolling down to find what I'm looking for. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so I'll bring this over here. And he says, I'm Boris, I created Claude Code, and lots of people ask how I use Claude Code, so I wanted to show off my setup a bit. My setup might be surprisingly vanilla. Claude Code works great out of the box, so I personally don't customize it much. There's no one correct way to use Claude Code. We intentionally build it in a way that you can use it, customize it, and hack it however you like. Each person on the Claude Code team uses it very differently, so here goes. Number one, I run 5 Claudes in parallel in my terminal. So think about that. Think about you have 5 different intelligent agents doing work for you at a single time. That is a real multiplier. And it doesn't just have to be for websites. It doesn't have to be for apps. It doesn't have to be for games. You can be creating presentation docs. You can be doing deep research. You can be doing something for your personal life, organizing your email. People have given their bank accounts to Claude Code. You could do a lot. And so just think about, this guy has 5 different instances running, numbers them 1 to 5, okay? And then he says, I also run 5 to 10 Claudes on Claude.ai/code in parallel with my local Claudes. So they have a web version of Claude Code that you can use, and they can speak to each other. So he's running 5 local instances. He's running 5 to 10 instances on the web. He says, I often hand off local sessions to web using the ampersand. I use Opus 4.5 with everything. It's the best coding model I've ever used. I absolutely agree. That's what I was saying. Opus 4.5 is the coding model right now. If you have tokens, use them. Like that's my point of view. Our team shares a single Claude.md. So Claude.md file is just a set of instructions for Claude. You can say, I want you to write code like this. I want you to think about things this way. I want you to use these resources. It's something very, it can be very simple or it can be very elaborate. And he's working with a big team. And that, I can see how that could be really helpful. And we're getting into some other things. I don't think it's super relevant for our purposes right now. Yeah, right here it says most sessions start in plan mode. So that's how we started. We started with plan mode. We just give it a starting prompt. And normally, like I said, my initial prompt was not the greatest. It was not the most thorough. But you can see, well, we'll see what the output ends up looking like. But you can see that you can just start very simply, and Claude is smart enough to just go from there. And slash commands, he's using slash commands. So we're not going to use a bunch of slash commands today. Slash commands are, if you type slash inside the terminal here, you can see all these different, these are all the baked in slash commands. And then you can create custom slash commands. So up here, what you do is you'd create a new directory called .claude. Oh no, that's not in the root. And in here, you can have other subdirectories, and one of them is called commands, and then you can create custom slash commands. And it's basically just a set of instructions. So if you want to formalize a process that you are going to use many times over, then you would do that. So for example, when I am building more important things, I like to use something called the BMAD method. And it's basically just AI-driven development using Agile. And it comes with a bunch of custom slash commands. And so, for example, one of those custom slash commands is the, oh, wait, did it? Oh, no, I thought it messed up. Never mind. Is the developer command. So you type /dev, and it has a set of instructions that says, load these files, and the files that it loads are the coding standards that I have set for it. It loads in any type of resources or documentation that might be relevant. And so whenever I want to develop something using BMAD, I use the /dev command. It loads those files, so those files are in its context so that it understands what I want better. So what you're doing is you're formalizing a process that you are going to repeat in the future. And once again, you can imagine that outside of coding. I'm going to try and, what's a good idea? I mean, if you have, let's say you have standards, if you're creating, PowerPoints or something like that, and you have a design system that you use for your business or at your company or whatever, you could create a custom slash command where it loads in certain assets and it has screenshots and directions. And so you would formalize that process. You'd create a slash command, and that would, give you, I don't know if it's a shortcut, but it basically just, it loads in a bunch of extra context that is super helpful to get the output that you want. All right, let's see. Let's go back here. I use a few sub-agents regularly. Sub-agents are amazing. So sub-agents, your agent, this is an agent that's running right here. And this agent, if I want to, in fact, let's go over here. I'll say this. Spin up a sub-agent that searches the web using the Exa MCP that looks for Supabase documentation. And I want you to then have that sub-agent create a new markdown file that gives instructions on how best to insert new tables. That's really basic and silly and not a real task. But what you could do is you spin off a sub-agent. So your agent actually prompts the sub agent with the directions that you gave it. Now it creates its own, it won't give it my exact text that I just said. It will create a prompt, give it to a sub agent. And one of the most important things here is that the sub agent itself has a fresh context. So if I'm here working on something, you can see down here in this, I've used 15% of the context. Now the sub agent will go off and do an entire task and report back, and none of this context will be used, and it's really fantastic. So I'm going to hit that. We're going to enter, just to give you an example, and you'll see the sub agent run up or show up here in a second. This task. So this task right here is the sub agent running, and I told the sub agent, like you heard, to use an MCP server. I use Exa, which is super helpful for getting documentation. And then over here, somewhere over here, I don't know where, maybe it'll do it in docs, I don't know, we'll see. But it's going to create a markdown file with what I'm going to delete it after, after it gets created. We'll go back to our main agent over here. It is still running, which is fantastic. You could see the context. We're at 68% now. Almost 137,000 tokens used. Been running for about a half an hour. All right, and while that, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back. See what else Boris has to say. We use post tool use hook to format Claude Code. Okay, this is a really fun one. Using hooks in Claude Code is really fantastic. And I have a really basic, but in my opinion, very useful example of using a hook. And so, you know what, since this is running, we have time, I will show you what I do there. So I am going to, in our .claude directory up here, I'm going to create a file that's called settings.json. And I'm pasting this over from another project I have open because it's just going to be easier that way. I'm going to save this, and give me 1 second because I will show you what's going on here. Oh, look, hey, our sub agent finished, and then it reported back to our main agent, and it says, done, I've created this markdown file. And you can see down here, the context window didn't budge. It did a bunch of work. It used 72,000 tokens. And our main agent's context window did not budge, which is fantastic. And so it said it created this, in the docs directory, right there. So you can click that and open it here. And this is fantastic. It created a file of almost 600 lines and gave additional resources. We're not going to read through this. We don't need it. But subagents are really wonderful. All right, so let's go back to this hook. Well, let's see. That's still writing. Oh, look at this. We're getting a context. Yeah, this is a little off. I do find this. This counter and this counter are a little different. All right, I'm going to let this keep running. We'll see how far it gets. I don't love using /compact. It's not great. I like to prompt the agent myself to create documentation based on where we are in the development process. But I think for this project, we're just going to use the built-in /compact. It fits with the vibes. We're not... I think it'll be okay. All right. So I'm just going to let that run, and I'll show you what I like to do here with the hook. So let me pull this up. I like to use ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs is, well, they have many features now, but their main feature is text-to-speech. And so what you could do is I have found this voice, which I really like for my projects here, and I type in the name of the project. So let's do not replaced yet. And we'll create examples of not replaced yet. I don't love that. I like that. Let's just do regenerate one more. Let's bring this down. I don't want robust. Let's go natural. Actually, I hope you can hear this. I don't know if you can, actually. We'll go creative. Let's see what that looks like.
Not replaced yet.
Let's go with that one. So what I do is I download this MP3 file. This Claude Code audio, Beth, NRY. Beth is the name of the model up here. Okay, great. So I have that now. That's still running. Perfect. And this is our settings.json. That should be fine. I can leave that as true. Now this is a hook right here. And what we're doing is we're doing a stop hook. So whenever the agent is done, when it stops, this hook runs. And what a hook is, all it's doing is running something when the agent stops. That's what a hook is. And there are different types of hooks. You could do pre-tool use, post-tool use. There's different things that you can say at this moment in time when an agent is doing something, do something. And so we're just running it on stop. And so since this is already set up, I am just going to change this to the name. I saved it in the same directory and everything. So I change it as that. So I'm going to save this and we'll close that out. And we'll go back over here. You have to restart Claude Code for it to take effect. So it's not going to run in our main agent here. But let me close this out. Clear it. Just have a habit of clearing my terminal. And I'm going to say, hi. Once again, it's slow when it boots up. And I hope you can hear this.
Not replaced yet.
Okay, so if you can't hear this, it just played the MP3 file. So it says not replaced yet. So this is what I have set up. So again, we set up a hook where every time the agent finishes, when it stops, it plays that MP3 file. And what I do is because I named it not replaced yet, as I told you earlier, I have multiple instances of Claude Code running on different projects. And so when an agent finishes, I hear that MP3 file. So for any project that's running, I can then know that that's the project I need to go back to work on it. It's super helpful. It's very minimal, and you can be even more robust. You could actually hook it up to ElevenLabs API and have it be sort of more dynamic. You can like for example, I could hook it up, and Beth could be talking to me about the project when it finishes. It could say, Nick, this feature just finished, and I need you to look at this file or something like that, right? You could say, because this would be an example. You could have a Claude in your Claude.md file. You could give it instructions to every single time you finish. I have this hook set up for ElevenLabs to talk to me. I need you to create the text that gets sent to ElevenLabs for my hook. You could do that type of thing. And then, so Claude Code would tell ElevenLabs what to say, and then ElevenLabs would come back to me and speak to me about what was just done. It's really cool, but I like to keep it simple. I just want to know that my project, which project just finished. Oh boy, we are running out of context. We're gonna have to get we're gonna compact here in a sec. That's okay. That's okay. Again, we're vibing this. Anyways, that's just a really simple but very actually useful example of a hook. There are a lot more, but that's a great one. So what else does Boris have to say? I don't use dangerously skip permissions, and we are right now, so I apologize, Boris. Instead, I use /permissions to pre-allow common bash commands that I know are safe in my environment. That's really smart. That's in fact, that's much smarter than dangerously skip permissions to avoid unnecessary permission prompts. Most of these are checked into .cloud /settings.json and shared with the team. Yeah, that is a good way to do it. Oh no, we're running out of context down here. What do we have? Claude Code uses all my tools for me. It often searches and posts to Slack via the MCP server. It runs BigQuery queries to answer analytics questions using BQ CLI. It grabs error logs from Sentry. The Slack MCP configuration is checked into our MCP JSON. Yeah, that's really nice. I mean, it's very helpful to have that set up. You can see how connecting Claude Code to all the tools, all the services that you use, it's really helpful. So, for example, I mean, I already showed you an example of Supabase. You can have it with Vercel. I use it with ingest. I use it with, I mean, if these words don't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. I know I'm getting kind of nerdy in this, but I just kind of want to give you an example. I want to show you the lay of the land of what's possible here using Claude Code. It's kind of turned in less. This video has turned less into a vibe coding session and more of like a Claude Code evangelism session. All right, 12. For very long-running tasks, I will either prompt Claude to verify its work with a background agent when it's done. That's really nice. Use an agent stop hook. That's what we did for the audio. To do that more deterministically, or C, use the Ralph Wiggum plugin. This has been a big thing in the Claude Code world lately. Originally dreamt up by Jeffrey Huntley. I will also use either permission mode, don't ask, or dangerously skip permissions in a sandbox to avoid permission prompts in the session. Yeah, that makes sense. Final tip, probably the most important thing to get great results out of Claude Code. Give Claude a way to verify its work. If Claude has a feedback loop, it will 2 to 3x the quality of the final results. I totally agree with that. That makes a lot of sense. There are different ways you can do that. A lot of times, I mean, especially, again, if the stakes are low, it's one thing. If the stakes are high, it's another. You should be intelligent about writing tests with Claude. Tests after code is written, tests can be written to verify that the code actually does what it says it does, but you have to be careful about the construction of that to make sure that it's not like faking it, basically. And then also you can use something like Playwright or Chrome Dev Tools, so Claude can actually open up a browser, use the browser itself, and check what it built out. That's super helpful. I use the Chrome DevTools MCP a lot to do just that. Look at this. It's still running. Context. Here it says 0%, but this is what I mean. These numbers are mismatched a little bit, and this does run. I find this it runs past 0%. I mean, it says 0, but it's still going, as we can see. And over here, our context says 88% usage. I don't know what the right answer is. I'm very excited to see how this turns out, though. And once this is done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Claude create the database for me. Since it has access to Supabase, it will know everything that it just wrote. Even though we're going to have to get a new context window, we're going to compact. It'll have context from this session that it's created, that it's used to create this app. And then I'm going to have it plan and execute on the database using the Supabase MCP. It's very nice, very clean, very useful. Okay, and you can see it looks like it might be done. It's running a build. It compiled successfully. It's linting and checking the validity of types. Like that. We're getting close. I'm going to have to set Clerk up for auth. I'm going to have to do that too. So Clerk is a third-party app. I'll show you here. Look at clerk.com. It's authentication and user management. And maybe this is a little overkill. I'm just so used to using Clerk, but it's probably overkill for our usage. But it's especially for something like this, it's also really easy to implement. So I don't know. And it's just going to be me and Jesse in this app anyways. You know what? I'm going to go ahead. Once again, I'll pull it over here in case I don't want to show off everything. Signing in. I always forget what my account is. I have so many email addresses. There we go. That's right. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to create a new project here in all right, so this is Clerk over here. And you create your application. Not replaced yet. And it'll just be email and Google, that's fine. Create the app. And this layer is free. What I really like about Clerk, actually, we're on the free plan for this. In fact, let me get this right. I just want to make sure. I don't want to mess up pricing. It's a very smart business plan they have. So on the free plan, of course, it is, they have their Clerk branding. You see the pro plan at $25 a month, you get to remove the Clerk branding. But essentially, you get 10,000 monthly active users before they charge anything. And it's such a, in my opinion, such a smart business plan that they have there, because they give you such a high limit that, of course, at 10,000, if you have a site that has 10,000 monthly active users, you should be able to afford $25 a month for their step up. And you've probably already upgraded well before then. But so we're on this free plan. You just create your app. And then once again, just like in the 21st.dev components library, Clerk is really great because if you see this right here, it says copy this quick start guide as a prompt for LLMs to implement Clerk in your Next.js application. And so you just literally click this, and I will set this up over here. Let's do clerk.md. No, oh, that's a directory. Didn't mean to do that. Inside docs, new file, clerk.md. And as you can see here, once again, these are the instructions. Add Clerk to Next.js app router purpose. You know, it's giving the LLM a purpose. It's giving it the scope. Must, you know, all AI-generated advice or code related to Clerk must follow these guardrails. And then it gives you the guardrails. It's so simple, but this is legitimately one of my favorite things that has popped up over the past year it's companies creating LLM instructions. It's so nice. It cuts out the guesswork, it reduces errors, and it essentially gets things right the first time. Maybe there's an error, but I'm failing to remember an issue that I've had off of something like this. And like I said, on not with something like Clerk, but on like a 21st dev component, you can edit from there, right? You integrate some UI component and you say, oh, I want that to be blue or red or whatever. I want it to go faster, slower, add something in. So one thing is like this deterministic set of instructions, like for Clerk, where you don't mess with it. And another thing is a thing that shortcuts you, gets you 90% of the way there, and then you just give it a prompt to say, edit this way, that way, and then you're done. I don't know. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. I just love it so much. It's so nice. All right. So at this point, I'm trusting this context window more so than this context window disclaimer. Obviously, I mean, we're sitting here at 96%, so we're getting close. Neural background.tsx. And to continue to repeat myself, I really want you to think about, imagine having multiple sessions of this running at the same time. You have this project going. We've been running for how long now? Where's the time? 50 minutes. 50 minutes. So we have had this essentially in the background for almost an hour now. And what else can you get done? And then what else can you also have running for 50 minutes? Or I mean, even 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 10 minutes, you know? And imagine, just like Boris said, he has 5 instances running locally and then 10 to 15 running in the web. And so it's almost what the limiter becomes imagination, your creativity. What are you trying to get done? And I want to say, I aspire to get up to the maybe 20 instances like Boris says he has running. But I have had, I would say 6 is my max. 6 instances running, and I'm on Windows. And so what I do is I have a 3 monitor setup. I don't know if you see me looking back and forth here, but I have my laptop in the middle and then 2 monitors on the side of it. And so I have 3 different desktops set up. And so you can switch desktops in Windows. You can do it in Mac too. And so on either monitor on the sides, I have cursor open with Claude Code in each. And so, like I said, I use that stop hook where it says the name of whatever agent just finished running. And then I know I need to go to that desktop and then that Claude Code instance and work on it. One thing that I've found is interesting and helpful is thinking of, okay, for low stakes things, I've created a bunch of personal apps for myself. I'm never going to release the code. They only run locally. I don't even think I have, well, some have like a private Git repo for them, and some don't even have that. Like, I'm real sloppy. And but for my usage, for these personal apps, that's fine. I don't care. And so something that I've said that I was trying to say is, what can be useful is thinking, and well, I like to speak it out. You could write it down or whatever. But writing the prompts when you're away from your computer. If you're somewhere else, if you're I don't know, if you're taking a walk or wherever, if you're at the store, you can pull out your phone and record your voice, and you can get prompts out of your head while you're doing other things, and then you have that you can then just put that into Claude Code and let it run. And like I said, if you're doing something low stakes, then you can just let that run. And I mean, especially if you're on Opus, it's going to do a good job. But even if there are mistakes, oh, it's done. Yeah, even if there are mistakes, that's okay. Again, because the stakes are low and you can just edit from wherever it is at the point. All right, let's get back over to this. I'll stop rambling. Okay, the build succeeded. It's updated the to-do list. Not replaced yet. Next.js website is now fully built. We have the public pages, homepage, blog post, Signal, AI resources. Oh, I forgot a page. Oops. called the framework. We'll add that in. That's fine. Admin dashboard protected by Clerk. Dashboard/admin, blog management, signal management, AI resources management. The key files created here. We have our initial schema. Oh, great. It already created the schema. We have a .env example file. So that's for environment variables. Those are for secrets. So we'll check that out, actually. Well, in a sec. We have the complete design system with Tailwind, cream navy colors, railway font, neural network CPPN shader. Hopefully that looks good. The liquid glass navigation. All right. So I am going to compact this. Again, I don't usually use /compact, but for this site, I'm going to. Forgive me, please. All right, it's compacting this conversation, and then we're going to go from there. So it should have, hopefully, the right context from this previous session. What it does is it tries to keep the most important information from this session. So if I talk to it again, if I talk to this new session, it will know what was done in the previous session. That's what compact attempts to do. And what I like to do usually, like I said, if I'm cutting out at 40 to 60% usage, what I do is, if I'm in BMAD, it's kind of going at almost automatically. But if I'm running things without a system like that, then I'm explicitly telling it what I want to document. So I have a docs directory, and I will say, create this type of documentation. Make sure you have a handoff doc so I can give it to another AI agent. Do all these different things. Okay, there we go. Perfect. I'll look at this. I'll make sure we don't have an XJS error or vulnerability. But it's compacted, and it has a bunch of information here, and that should be good. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to do this. Let's say you have access to Supabase MCP, and the initial seeding SQL file exists. Can you please implement that? Let's see how this goes. It should be fine. Oh, unless I need to... Ah, shoot. Did I enable it here? I might need to restart Claude Code. I forget when we enabled it, actually. It's been almost an hour. Yeah, Supabase not found. Okay, I'm stopping it. I hit escape. I'm stopping it, and I'm just gonna... Oh, come on. All right, I'm out of Claude Code. Once again, I clear cd, and then what you can do is you can just do the continue flag, and that spins that same conversation right back up. So we're back here. All right. You should now have... Well, actually, before we do that, let's just double check. Once again, it's slow when it's starting. I'll use /MCP this time instead of the @ symbol. Yep, there we go. All right, so Supabase is up and running. All right. You now have access to the Supabase MCP. Please try again. Yeah, and look at that. We're back down to 16% usage in the context window. Yep, okay. That's perfect. So it noticed that the database is empty. It has the migration file, and it is applying the migration. Conflict, true. We should be able to see that. Oh, where'd my Supabase tab go? I have too many tabs open. There we go. Database is ready. Hey, there we go. So here's our table. You can see AI resources, blog posts, resource categories, signal categories. All of these things are in here. Perfect. Fantastic. Okay, great. Let's look at the app. Let's see what it looks like. So we'll open up a new terminal here and run npm run dev. That should open it in localhost 3000. Fantastic. Okay, look at this. Yep. Okay, so I tried to run, and we're missing the publishable key. So I need to insert Clerk real quick. So let me find Clerk once again. Too many tabs. Here we go. Here we go. I didn't even give it that prompt. I wonder if it's going to be good enough. It may not, in fact. Hold on. So over here to env. We'll copy that over. Create the env.local file. Some of these need to be secret. And yeah, you can see this is the server log here. Publishable key not valid. All right. So inside Clerk here. Oh, I don't want you to see my secret key. That's not good. I'm going to have to take this off. Over here. So apologies, but you can't see my secrets. There, that's saved. We'll refresh this. All right. Okay, so we have a cannot read properties of undefined React current owner. I'm going to copy this error. This is a simple thing to do. So here's what I like to do. There are many different ways to do this. This is just a really kind of a brute force way to do it. I create a directory called .ignore, and I'm going to add that into my git ignore because I don't want that to show up. We'll go up here, create a new thing, debug.text. Again, this is kind of, it's an easy but crude way to do this. And you can just say something really simple like this. I'm getting this error on load. And you pull this text file in. And in the meantime, I'm sure, interesting. So Claude Code is saying it's a React 9 compatibility issue with React 3 Fiber. Ha! Wow. I don't love this. It's saying it's going to rewrite the entire neural background using vanilla Three.js. That's going to take a second. I mean, we'll see if it does it. We may not be able to finish this. I have to jump off here soon. We may have to do a round 2 for this. I do think that might make the most sense. Let's see how this goes, and I'm going to keep filling this out. So in the meantime, basically, to give you a sense of this, we'll open this back up. This is the env example. So when you create an app like this, you need environment variables. And these can be public or secret keys that you get that you need to use from the different third-party apps that we're using. So for example, we need keys from Supabase and Clerk. And it's not just keys. For example, this top one is the URL. So again, I have the actual file over on the side here, so you can't see what I'm putting in because some of them, I don't want you to see my service role key and the secret and the Clerk secret. Oh, whatever. So, but just so you know, these types of keys need to be set up, and so that's what I'm doing over here while Claude tries to rewrite the entirety of that shader. We'll see if it works. I need to get my Supabase information. So just to give you a sense of where this is inside Supabase, you go into project settings over here, and then in the left sidebar, there's an API keys section, and you have publishable and secret keys. They've recently updated their the way that they run their keys, but you come in here and you create publishable and secret keys, and then that's the data that goes in your environment variable. So I'm over here creating new keys. Look at all that vanilla Three.js being written. All right, I've put in my anon key, and now we need our secret key in. That finished. Interesting, we'll see. And then let me add in my URL, and then we'll check. I always forget where they put the URL. There it is, in Data API. So that should be it. Let me double check. I think I have all of my environment variables set. Okay, perfect. All right, we'll see what this looks like. Okay. I'm sorry, but that's amazing. For anyone who's still here, it rewrote the entirety of that shader in vanilla Three.js because it had an error with React 19. That's just, I love it. That's fantastic. We do have an error though, and no text is showing up. We have our nav up here. It's a little hard to see. What happens if I want to go to the blog page? Okay. Signal. AI resources. Look at that. Home. Why are we not seeing? I'm going to inspect this and see if, like, yeah, no, that's the title. This is probably a dumb way to do this. Oh, maybe, no, here it is. Okay, cool. So it's there, but I can't see it. Perfect. So let's do that. We'll finish that out, and I think then that'll be good for this round. Okay, great. One last thing. I cannot see on the homepage, I can't see the heading or the subheading. It's in the DOM. I inspected it, but I don't see it. Please fix it. All right. Yeah, so we're going to do this, and then we're going to call it. And I'm going to do an episode 2 to finish this out tomorrow. It's gone a little longer than I expected. We're at an hour 17-ish, something like that right now. I don't know how long. It's probably going to be there are a few edits I have to make, so it'll be a little shorter than that. But I didn't really edit much. Okay, so that finished. Let's refresh, and still one error. Oh, it's a hydration issue. All right, copy that out. All right, so I'm just going to paste that error in to our debug.txt. I still don't see the heading or subheading text, and I'm getting this hydration error. Again, sort of a, as I think of it, a sort of like a brute force, crude way to check errors. There are better, more context-aware, sort of more elegant ways to do this, but for our purposes, it will work. Yeah, it's starting with an opacity 0. That is a good guess, my friend. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. We'll have to work with the animation because there should be some sort of like floating animation on that text when we first load, but at least it's showing and we're no longer getting the error. And it's still checking things. I also want this stacked. All good things to get done tomorrow, though. Oh, that's not right. We'll fix that. I don't want that background. Refreshing. Oh, we're still getting an error there. Okay. This is great, though. I think this is a great place to call it. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. I'm glad you've made it. Please like, comment, subscribe. We're going to finish this out tomorrow, like I said, so come back tomorrow, watch the second video, see how things go. And then also, I'll have this actually launched and people can use it. We're going to have great blogs. The things that were, like I said, the signal is the things that we're paying attention to. So Jesse and I, we are constantly taking in different types of media in the AI space, tech space in general, and we're going to put everything that we think is worthwhile that other people should know about. That's where we're going to place that. And we're going to do other, it's going to be a lot of good stuff here. And so, yes, again, I'll repeat, please like, comment, and subscribe. We are here to help you with AI in 2026. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.